The numbers are stark. America is losing faith in President Trump. As he approaches the 100-day mark of his second term, disapproval hangs over his presidency. Never before has a president faced such abysmal approval ratings at this stage. The numbers paint a picture of a nation losing trust. Can he recover? A mere 39% approve of Trump's job. This contrasts with his predecessors. The disapproval rate is 55%. The numbers are a referendum on his leadership. The economy flickers with uncertainty. Controversial policies have ignited opposition. The foundations of American democracy seem under strain. The weight of these issues bears down on the presidency. The nation is watching, waiting, wondering. Will this be a turning point? Can Trump regain trust? Or will these ratings define his legacy? Only time will tell. The economy, once a touted success story, is now a source of anxiety for many Americans. The promised boom has yet to materialize, and instead, storm clouds gather. The stock market, a barometer of confidence, fluctuates wildly, leaving investors on edge. Trump's economic policies, particularly his tariffs, have drawn sharp criticism. Businesses and consumers alike feel the pinch of rising prices. The manufacturing sector, once a pillar of strength, shows signs of faltering. The administration's response, a mix of optimism and defiance, does little to quell the growing unease. Promises of future growth ring hollow in the face of present anxieties. The economic woes are not merely statistics on a page. They are felt in homes across the country, in lost jobs, shrinking paychecks, and mounting uncertainty about the future. Immigration, a perennial flashpoint in American politics, has become even more divisive under the Trump administration. The administration's hardline policies, including increased border security and restrictions on legal immigration, have drawn fierce condemnation from human rights groups and sparked protests across the nation. The images of families separated at the border, children held in detention centers, and asylum seekers turned away have shocked the conscience of many Americans. The administration's rhetoric, often dehumanizing and inflammatory, has further fueled the flames of division. Public opinion polls show a growing majority of Americans oppose the administration's handling of immigration. The issue has become a moral stain on the presidency, a symbol of its perceived cruelty and disregard for human rights. The administration, however, remains defiant, defending its policies as necessary to protect national security and uphold the rule of law. This unwavering stance in the face of widespread condemnation has further eroded public trust. Section 4. The specter of overreach. Beyond specific policies, a broader concern simmers: the perception of presidential overreach. Critics argue that the Trump administration consistently tests the limits of executive power, eroding democratic norms and the rule of law. From attacks on the media and the judiciary to attempts to obstruct justice and undermine the electoral process, the administration's actions have raised alarm bells across the political spectrum. The disregard for established norms, the relentless attacks on institutions, and the constant testing of boundaries have created a sense of constitutional crisis. This perceived assault on democratic institutions has shaken the very foundations of American governance. The public, once content to leave politics to the politicians, is increasingly alarmed by what they see as a threat to the very fabric of their democracy. The administration's response, a mix of denial and defiance, does little to assuage these fears. Instead, it fuels the perception of a president unconstrained by law or convention, a president who views himself above accountability. Section 5. A defiant administration. Despite plummeting approval ratings, the White House remains defiant. The administration blames negative poll numbers on biased media and political opponents. They dismiss concerns as fake news and opponents as enemies of the people. This siege mentality appeals to the base but doesn't address a divided nation. The administration's response can be summarized in one word: denial. Rather than acknowledge public concerns, they retreat into an echo chamber, This refusal to self-reflect and divisive rhetoric does not bode well for the future. It suggests an administration out of touch, more concerned with self-preservation. Section 6. A nation awaits. As President Trump approaches the 100-day mark of his second term, the nation stands at a crossroads. The glow of victory has faded, replaced by a sobering reality. The challenges are immense, the divisions deep. The president's approval ratings, a reflection of the national mood, paint a bleak picture. The question now is, where do we go from here? Can President Trump change course? Can he address the concerns of a weary and wary public? Or will he continue down the same path, further dividing the nation and eroding its standing in the world? The world is watching. History is recording. The next chapter in the Trump presidency, and indeed in the American story, has yet to be written. The stakes are high, the consequences profound. The nation holds its breath, waiting to see what the future holds.